Coach, what is going on?
Hey, how's it going now?
Look at you joining us from the field. Very nice. Thank you very much for taking a little bit of time out of practice. I see you have everyone pause the drills very, very still. They're
Don't
working
nobody move.
and they're working on their silent count for the
That's
duration
right.
of this interview. What's going on, man? Congratulations on football being back, probably having more work to do than ever before because you now have all this protocol and whatnot. But we're just checking in with coaches all over the county to see what's up. And how is life for the Hoover Cardinals right now?
I tell you, it's an exciting period right now. A little bit nerve wracking. I mean, we've been doing some things off and on the last couple months, but it got to a point where the kids stopped believing that it was going to be a season, so our numbers went down, and now I'm trying to scramble to get all these kids back out and get them back in shape and get them ready for upcoming game next week. It's been difficult, but we're getting it done.
I think the gist of what I've gotten from most coaches is that it's just everyone's a little bit behind the ball, no matter how much work you can end up doing in a given day. And you still feel like there's more and more we need to do.
Yes.
So, where is the balance right now as a coach in terms of actual football percentage wise versus just the non-football housekeeping, caretaking of getting this program up and running from so little notice?
I'll tell you this. Honestly, our admin and my assistant coaches, they've been great with taking care of most of the protocols and making sure from the check-in to the temperatures to the clear pass to the spacing on the field, even during, as you see in our still photo, during the drills, like they've done a great job of taking care of that part of it, which has allowed me to focus more on the actual what we need to get done on the football field. And it's going. It's like everyone else, we're behind the curve, but we're moving at a steady pace.
What is maybe something that you didn't expect to be a little bit of an obstacle that is like, are you guys still allowed to use whistles? Like, is there just something random where you're like, oh man, I know I can't do that, but I want to do that during practice?
I'd probably say, I mean, we're obviously able to use whistles.
And I don't know if there's an answer to that or not. I feel like some coaches are like, oh man, I missed this drill or I missed this one thing. We can't do it right now. And it just doesn't feel quite right.
The hardest part right now for me, honestly, during practice is the water breaks.
Okay. There you go. So what does an average water break look like now? Instead, because usually it's just everyone go get some water, head on over there. Let's get back real quick. No walking on the field. Like that's what I remember a water break being. What is during the pandemic water break look like?
Water break looks like 40 kids running to all different sides of the field where you got 6 kids with water bottles stored on the left end zone, another 6 with the right end zone and this end zone, and then 5 that keep it next to the shed. So it looks like a scramble drill that went wrong.
Like a reverse coverage drill. Everyone run off the field.
Off the field.
Yeah. Hey, that's better than I had it pictured. I thought that you were just going to maybe be like a coach stands there with a hose about 10 feet away from the players and just hopes squirts it near their mouths just to keep everything because it just feels like there's so many protocols and whatnot. In terms of actual football, what are you looking for? What is this season going to be? Is it just going to be senior heavy? Just get the guys some fun and some reps. Where do you have your mindset as a football coach?
So it's actually weird because my intentions initially, for wanting to have a football season and pushing so hard for the kids to, still believe was for my seniors. And, come to find out, we only have 6 seniors. So we're a young team. All 6 seniors are back to play. They're doing what they need to right now. But we're going to be a young team hitting the field and, even to the point where we'll have a couple freshmen that's suiting up varsity and probably 3 or 4 of them starting. So it's going to be I'm going to call it a test.
So then would those kids be maybe kids that wouldn't have started on varsity if this season had gone off at a regular time?
Absolutely. They would not have started. They would have been JV players that possibly could have suited up varsity, maybe did some special teams. But again, with, 8 different sports going on, we're a school that we don't, typically have 100 kids come out for football. Now we're sharing with multiple sports and we lost a few kids to other sports. And I may, as long as you're doing something, I'm fine with it. It does, obviously I want it to be football, but if you're a soccer player, hey, go play soccer. I'm fine with that.
I think everybody's having to learn to be polite and political, and field time is going to be an issue, splitting it, who gets the priority during the right time of day and whatnot. And I think thankfully football has a little bit of the, like, we're just big enough that we can get above everyone else. But for some of the boys, girls, soccer, lacrosse combos, I feel for coaches, and
we have all of that. Yes.
Yeah. And I feel for having to split that. You mentioned, this maybe being some kids that wouldn't get time. I think that's going to happen to a couple of schools across the county. So I'm curious, at your last stop at Kearney, you took a very small program and you squeezed every ounce out of it, I felt like, and you got some really, really amazing results in a transformational process that took a couple years. You've been at Hoover now. This is your second season. Am I correct?
No,
or is
this
will be your first season? This is year number 2. So, what can something like a year like this do for a program, though, in terms of that development, if you get those kids some of that trial by fire?
Well, and the funny thing is, that's actually what we've been preaching to the kids is, it's been a long 4 years for Hoover, all over, and this is a chance that we tell our kids, hey, we've been there, we've done that. We took a program that had won 3 games in 4 years, and 3 years later we're playing for a CIF championship. After year 1 we're playing for the league title. So we try to instill in them that, hey, the coaches have been here. If you guys just trust what we're saying, we can get the Hoover program there as well. The freshmen that's come in, they've been tremendous as far as showing up, working hard, and that's part of the reason why they're able to suit up for varsity now. Is it's not just because we're missing people; it's because they've earned the opportunity. And I think this year, the 5-6 games that we're going to get to play will be a tryout to entire San Diego. That, hey, I don't care what your previous thoughts of Hoover were over the last few years. This is where we're at right now, and we got a couple athletes out on the field that I think are going to do some great things this short season.
Well, I mean, I remember when I was in high school, Hoover was Todd Doxey, and I think Leslie Rogers was the quarterback, and like really, really hard to beat you guys. So it can come and go really quickly. With maybe a season like this ends up being what is that awesome transformational process. Any specific players that you want to give a shout out just for people who should be paying attention to them this season? Maybe some of your seniors.
I'm definitely going to start out with Lucas Butler. He's a receiver DB. I'll say this, and just being totally honest, I had some great receivers at Kearney, and everybody was familiar with party in the end zone, and and
it was a whole thing. You guys were a legitimately offensive juggernaut there.
And he's a kid that I truly feel that if he would have been at Kearney during that time, he would have fit right in with the receivers that we have. I think he's a untapped star that San Diego doesn't know about, but they'll get a chance to really see what he's working with this short season. We have a running back who's a junior, Perfect Land, and for what we're running, he's perfect. I guess the name fits it itself. We have another running back slash linebacker. We call him G. His name is Garavu. He's a senior, and if you look at him and walk by him, he's a grown man that just playing with kids right now.
So you love the mismatches on the line when he lines up, and you're like, oh, yep. We're gonna
absolutely. Good one. And what makes it even more remarkable is if you look at him, we can line him up in the slot. You would never look at him to catch a ball, and he probably has the best hands on the team. So yeah, it's an interesting combination we have out there.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach, the great thing about this season that I'm looking forward to is that since there won't be any actual playoffs or championships, that everyone goes home somewhat of a winner, because you can walk away going, hey man, 4-2 was 2 bad drops in the first 2 games. We were really a 6-0 team. We're going to just declare this. We're going to throw our own parade. We're going to make ourselves a trophy. This is a great season. And everyone, I think, the minutia of the math over how many points did you get for your scoring rubric for your season, so you could get that 4 slot versus the 2 slot, like all that's just going to shed away. It's just going to be 6 games of football. And I think we're going to see a really positive vibe from the community come out from it. Or we're just going to see a bunch of scoreless games because no offense is clicking and everyone's just going to be really frustrated for 6 weeks. One of the two. There is nothing in between with the way that the last 18 months or last year has gone for everybody on this planet. But Coach, we really thank you very much for taking a few minutes out of practice. We will let you guys get back to your silent count drill that you were working on. And we'll say thank you for sticking with it through this whole pandemic and for all the hours that you and your entire coaching staff and your admin have been putting in to get the kids back to this. We really, really appreciate it. Coach, everybody out there, you can follow Coach Gray and the Hoover Cardinals. Let them know who your first scrimmage first, and then who your first games are going to be this season.
So our first scrimmage is Kearney High School.
Because why not? Why not?
Why not? Yeah, right? And it gives us a chance. I know where Kearney's at. I know who they have. I know what they have. So scrimmage them, that gives me a chance to figure out, hey, what do we have where we're at? Then we obviously go straight into our league schedule, which I love. We have Claremont, who not sure if they're going to have a varsity right now, so we may be looking to fill that game. We followed up with our rivals Crawford, Coronado. Who am I missing?
Well, we'll tell you what, this will be the radio tease. Everyone can go now check out the Hoover
That's
Cardinals.
Right.
You can follow Coach on Twitter. As I'm trying to dial it up right here, Coach, you want to give them, it's Coach Will Gray, Gray on Twitter. He can have all the information there for the full season, all that you need to know about the Hoover Cardinals. Coach, thank you very much. And we will talk to you in a couple weeks once we have some actual games under our belts.